Welcome to the Power of Hospitality, the podcast that celebrates the people, moments, and magic behind unforgettable experiences. I'm your host, Valerie Gavin, and together we'll explore how hospitality transforms individuals, businesses, and society. We'll check in with hospitality pros, innovators, and leaders from a variety of businesses who go above and beyond to create connection, joy, and impact. Whether you work in that industry or just believe in service from the heart, this show is for you. Let's dive in. My guest today brings a really unique vantage point, one shaped by decades of hotel operational experience and now sharpened through the lens of hotel ownership. Pierre-Louis Giacotto is the Senior Vice President of Asset Management at AJ Capital Partners, where he leads strategy across a really diverse portfolio that includes iconic properties like the Chicago Athletic Association and the Coral Sands Resort in the Bahamas. Before stepping into the world of asset management, Pierre-Louis held leadership roles at several hotels, anything from Radisson Blue Aqua to the Blackstone Hotel, which is part of the Autograph Collection. He's been across multiple brands, multiple markets, and the thing that I think really remained constant for Pierre-Louis is his belief in the power of hospitality to create value, both human and financial. And in today's conversation, we're going to explore a topic that I think is really so important, and it's one that Pierre-Louis is uniquely qualified to discuss. And that's what it really takes to bridge the gap between hotel operators and owners, and how trust and communication can really be strengthened across stakeholders, and why preserving the human side of leadership still matters, perhaps maybe now more than ever. So Pierre-Louis, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Power of Hospitality.
My pleasure, Valerie. I'm excited to be here with you and reconnecting with you after so many years. So thank you
It
for inviting me.
has been a long time.
Mhm.
So for everyone to know, Pierre-Louis and I worked together at Accor many years ago. I think we figured out 20, over
I think a
20,
little more.
about 20,
30.
at least 20 years. And we recently reconnected, which is just a great joy for me.
Yes, likewise. Likewise. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you. And to get us started throughout your career, and I said, you have a lot of varied, a variety of experience throughout different departments, different cities, different brands. Can you share a moment in your hotel career that truly captured that emotional power of hospitality for you?
Yes, absolutely. I was lucky enough in my career to be given a lot of opportunities. As you said, anything from operations to sales and marketing to general manager to regional and all this. And I think the common thread in all this, and especially in hospitality, is the power of leadership and how leadership shapes a career, shapes people, way of doing things. And really, it's the next step. In your life and in your career that really takes you to great length and helps you develop other people. And for me, what I cherish the most in leadership was not only me being a leader, but me inspiring others to continue to grow. I was lucky enough to be given a lot of opportunities throughout my career to and push the boundaries a little bit of what I thought I was capable of because people believed in me and because people really I looked at them and I said, well, that's what I want to be. That's the person I want to be. I want to be able to do this. And for me, leadership is key because it plays a really an indelible it puts an indelible mark on your career. And great leaders are the ones that really inspire you, that you remember the rest of your life. And I'm hoping, as a leader and have been in this business for so long, to have inspired a few people along the way, and that I have developed people in their career and help them. It's not only me, it's not only the other person. The person himself or herself has to obviously take the charge, but I think we play a role as leaders in their success. And for me, it's very rewarding. And I'm very excited when I see people that I have worked with, that I mentor, that have gone into greater and bigger thing, even sometimes bigger than me in some cases, which is
Yeah.
fine. It's perfectly fine. So that's what I cherish the most, I think. And hospitality allows you to have that type of approach. So I'm very excited.
And isn't that interesting too? Because I think a lot of leaders have had that moment where someone saw something in them that they didn't even see for themselves. So it must,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's like a lot of people you see like this. I've seen people, I've done that for others too, where I told someone, I really think this would be a great path for you. These people take the path and they love what they're doing and they're successful. I mean, it doesn't always work, obviously, but in many cases, somebody else has pushed you a little bit along. And I think that's the role of a leader is to show people the possibilities that they have that maybe as a person, we don't always see ourselves, for ourselves. So that's
yeah,
exciting to me.
the ability to see those possibilities is beautiful.
100%, yeah.
And so now earlier this year, you made the shift into asset management, and now you've got several months under your belt. And I'm wondering, as you think about that journey that you've taken so far, what's been kind of the biggest mindset shift that you've had to make during that transition?
Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, I had to think about it, especially, like I said, it's a transition. I've been 38 years or so in the operation, is in the thick of managing hotels and operations and everything to now. It's more a different mindset where you manage, assets in general, several assets as you mentioned in the introduction, very varied as kinds of assets from resorts to independent properties to brand to iconic hotels. So it's working through the operational team and through the management team in those hotels, through the lens of the owners. And how do I best help them and push them to make the asset more valuable? Because at the end of the day, my job is to make sure that the assets that our company has invested the money on is continuing to grow and in value because that's a business. That's what I always reminded people throughout my career. We're not running social organization, we're running businesses. And at the end of the day, businesses, owners, and people that have invested into businesses, the same way we invest maybe in an apartment to rent for Airbnb or whatever, we want this asset to grow in value. So my job is to ensure that the team on property as well as the management team really do and have the power to do everything in their power to make this asset more valuable. It's hard because when you are in control for so many years, when you're the GM of a hotel or regional, you kind of have the control to make decisions every day, constantly at every level of the organization. Now I am on the other side where I can make decisions, obviously being the owner's representative, but it's not really our job. Our job is to ensure that the team that we have hired to manage those hotels makes the right decision for us. So you lose a little bit of that power, if you will, which is always a little bit difficult. It's a transition, and you learn to kind of give the control back to the property and trusting people. So it's a matter of now building this relationship and this trust and trusting environment with the team that you have hired, that you're paying in some ways to manage those assets. So that's a little bit more difficult for me that have always been, really hands-on on things. But I get at the same time, I try to use those leadership skills that we were just talking about earlier. And how do I put them in practice? By really trying to give a vision, giving a direction of where we want to go and let them develop their ways to that vision, instead of me dictating how it's gone. So I feel, understand what a GM, for example, on property has to go through dealing with someone like me, because I had to deal with ownership and representative of ownership asset managers So I also try to balance the I by the understanding of where they're coming from. And I try to bring even to our organization a sense of understanding operations a little bit more. So I'm kind of bridging that. It's kind of the bridge between operation and asset management. And I try to help that bridging that gap that sometimes is there because of my experience. So for me, it's been it's definitely a mindset that I had to take, but I'm getting through this, and I think I'm starting to build some good relationship with the different properties and the different people involved in that, and the company that manages. We have a management company that we use for most of our properties, and trying to build a partnership with them, which is what we're doing because at the end of the day, it's we all win or we all lose, you know, that's the way it goes. So so
Yeah.
far so good. Not pressing my fingers.
But I think that's exactly what is needed. And you talked about building trust. And this is for me in the work that I do today, I really can't think of one time where it wasn't necessary to address trust first. It's the foundation for everything, whether it's a job.
In sales, that's exactly what it is. You build a trust with the client, and the client has to
Yeah.
trust that what you're saying is going to happen and that you're going to deliver. Absolutely, 100%.
And I think that's the same answer for this kind of gap here. And it sounds like that's what you're doing is really, really helping to build that trust, maybe even empathy on both sides, and then kind of facilitating communication between the two. Can you talk a little bit about how you approach that?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, it's all about you said the word communication, another keyword, but that's also so important. How do we communicate with each other? Do we communicate with respect and support and understanding, or do we communicate with a forceful kind of approach? And for me, it's more trying, as you said, as we build this trust, is trying to communicate with an understanding, a portion of understanding of what the team has to go through on property. You know, when you have to deal at a hotel with a guest issue, an employee issue, maybe some financial results that may not be there, and then some other factors that could be related to the environment or whatever, that's a lot to deal with. If on top of it, we have an asset manager that's going to be not really pleasant to work with, and that really doesn't instill in you this trust and this energy, this positive energy, then for me, I'm not doing my job. So I try to kind of always go back to my roots and say, how does my operational skills and all the stuff that I've done before impact how I'm dealing with this with the people that I'm going to be interacting with? And I try to understand sometimes their situation. I'm sometimes the voice for them in the company and say, you know, what's interesting in the asset management world is that it's not only the asset management, but we have also all the investment world, all the people that have made that thing possible, bought that hotel, bought that resort, or whatever. They have certain needs, and I need to be able to report to them what the needs, how their needs are fulfilled with the results that we have, or the lack of results in some case, because unfortunately, not every asset always performs all the time, you know. So
Okay.
for me, I'm the voice, or I try to be the voice of reason too, and understanding how it happens in a hotel. You also have to realize that in the asset management world and the investment world, people have not been in the hotel and they've never worked in a hotel. They've never been a general manager or anything in a hotel. And it's not a bad thing. It's just the reality. I have
Right.
I happen to have done that, so I can explain to them how things works. However, they can also explain to me on the other end all the financial aspect, the refinancing aspect of loans, and how do you use certain credits that you're able to get. That's what I'm learning. So they're teaching me as much as I'm teaching them. So going back to the original word that you said, the word communication, that's key. If we don't communicate, if we don't have somebody, a voice in between that helps connect them, all these dots, then I don't think we get the right results. So my background really helps with this because I'm able to do that connection between the financial aspect of the deal, but also the human aspect, which is the GM and the hotel aspect of the asset. And how do we put those two together in order to be successful? Because at the end of the day, once again, I still need I'm here to ensure that the asset continues to grow and the value remains or grows and doesn't lose value, obviously, because eventually one day it will be sold or it would be refinanced or whatever the case is, you know how it goes in the business. So and we want to continue to grow as a company. As a company, you want also your company to continue evolve and grow and get some new deals, and buy some new properties. And you can only do it when you're successful. So communication is huge, and hopefully my job of bridging that gap helps that
Yeah.
process because I'm able to explain it a little more simpler in a simpler term, if you will.
Yeah, in a way that it's like you're educating both sides in a way that they can receive it, even.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm getting educated too because I have also, having not been raised in this investment world, I'm learning a lot too, which for me is super exciting because I wanted to continue growing. That's the reason I'm here. So I think I play two roles. I'm the student that receives the information, but I'm also a little bit the teacher that can help deliver some portion of it. So that's a kind of exciting job.
Yeah, it is. Always learning. As you've been kind of navigating this, you know, this position that you're in and helping both sides to see that, is there still one thing that you wish more asset managers understood about hotel teams? And then the same question, kind of vice versa, hotel teams, something that you wish that they understood.
Yeah, I think there's an education part that's missing that us as general manager, and I say us, in my prior life in the operation world, we don't necessarily all I don't think it's understand, but are aware of the importance of or how the deals are made, how hotels are purchased, our assets are growing. I don't think we have as much knowledge about this as we do of operating. We know how to manage operations in the food and beverage or in the rooms or whatever. But understanding the bigger picture, I think sometimes is missing. And I think this is where, for me, I'm hoping to try to explain whenever I can to the team on property why it's so important for us to have this report done properly or on time. What do I do with the reports you're giving me? Are you just giving me reports just to please me, or is it because I'm using them? No, I'm using them because guess what? Every quarter I have to do reports for the investors of how their asset is performing and what they do. And I use those reports that you're giving me and I trust that those reports are correct and accurate for me to be able to deliver the information to the investors and either make them feel good about their investment or in some case, showing them that the investment is not doing so well. It all depends of the asset, obviously. So I think there's a part of education of understanding each other's role. What is the role of what the hotel has to do, and what is our role in the asset management, and what is our outcome? I mean, we all know we want financial stability and success and all this. I think everybody understands that, but it's beyond that. It's how does investment work? Because that's something, honestly, I was never privy to in my past. And I can almost guarantee a lot of the GMs out there, there's some I'm sure that are involved, but a lot of them are not aware of how all these deals are made and how you don't work for today, you work for 5, 10 years from now in the investment world. And that's what we need to think about all the time. I have to think of the long-term effect of what decisions we make today, an investment we make today, how is it going to grow in the next 5, 10 years? Because that's what we do in investment. So I'm learning tremendously, and I'm hoping to be also the voice to educate a little bit as I know more, as I learn more, hopefully educate the teams and the people I work with.
It's so interesting as you're talking, it's even making me think that, of course, I think there could be more training in the hotels on that side. But even before that, if you look at all of the hospitality schools, I mean, I was lucky when I went, I actually was a hospitality major, and at that time at Florida State, it was part of the business school. So I did have to take the foundational classes, but still not to, but nothing like this, right? And
Correct.
and I look today, and a lot of the hospitality schools, it's become such a bigger program, which is great and it's wonderful for the industry. But now they kind of sit alone separately from the business school. And I wonder if that's
Yeah,
a
and that's a,
not
that's
fit in.
so for me, I see it. I'm not sure that when we're young and we go to school, we are ready for this type of things, unless you're really into this financial mindset. If you go into the hospitality world, it's usually not because you have this financial acumen mindset, that you would have, or the drive. It's because I don't know, you love hospitality, you like the fact of being able to take care of people, welcoming people in your own home, all these things about hospitality. However, I think a program on business would come a long way as you grow in your career. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have any in the hospitality school. I think we should, and I think there should be some introduction to it, but expecting people to come out of a hospitality school understanding the asset management type of things, I'm not sure is really realistic, to be honest with you. So I think we can introduce them. However, as we progress in our
Yeah.
career, like you and I have done, then for sure, I think it's super important. And you may remember that were you part of the Cornell classes or no? I don't.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we did with our former company, Accor. We were lucky enough to be able to be trained and have this opportunity to go and train and develop our skills at Cornell University. And it was about asset management. It was about owners' relation. It was understanding a little bit more how financial, P&L, other below the GOP works, and how it works. Was it in depth? Maybe not as in depth as I would need now, but it was definitely a good introduction and a good time, I think, in our career to be able to be exposed to this because that is not something that a lot of GMs have, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think some do. Don't take me wrong. I'm sure there's many that do, but a lot don't. And I think that's maybe the piece that's missing. And we were lucky enough that our company at the time was willing to invest in us this way. So
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And because I think it is important. I mean, I think we even said at the beginning, I mean, because we can't lose sight of the fact that it is a business. But my hospitality heart is of the mindset that we want the business to be successful
right,
so that we can expand hospitality to even more people, right? It's like you need, if the business isn't successful, then you're not going to be providing these amazing memories and
right.
experiences. So for me,
And
that's
people have a connection with our business. It's a business that a lot of people are exposed to, whether it's the hotel, whether it's the restaurant. People go to the restaurant, they stay at hotel, or they so there's this intrigue about the business, and and then it's all the glamour that goes around it, which there's a little bit, but not much. The rest is all work. But I think we have an opportunity to educate people of what it is, and every time I speak to young kids. About hospitality is to tell them it's more than just being a server, a cook, a front desk manager. There's so many opportunities. You can take so many different routes in a hospitality that you don't realize, whether it's human resource, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's social media. I mean, you can go in all these different directions just by choosing the hospitality field. Yes, you will start at the beginning, in your career, but that doesn't mean you can't move fast and continue growing and be a leader. And then once you do good at leadership, then your world is opening even more because then leadership can be duplicated in other industries. So it's a great opportunity for people to work in this business and really develop their skills, owning their skills at every level of their career and never stop learning. That's always my thing. Never stop learning. You can always learn.
Yes. Look at that. You're still learning.
We do,
Completely.
100%.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes it great. Um, so looking forward with all of that said, what gives you kind of the most hope for the future of hospitality leadership and that alignment across the stakeholders that we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be positive. I mean, if you look at the lens with always a negative lens, it's very easy to get depressed and everything. I feel that we have an industry that is changing and continues to change, which is good, you know. I mean, the bases are still there. We're still here to welcome people in our hotel, you know, in the hospitality industry, whether it's in the restaurants, we want to take good care of them. We want them to have a great time. We want them to engage with us and everything. And at the end of the day, we also need to make sure the hotel or the restaurant or the business is successful, you know, financially and everything. Now, the tools are different than when you and I started with, you know, I mean, and that's the beauty of it. So for me, there's still an opportunity for people for the future to start using whatever's available to them and then reshaping a little bit the way we do things. The fundamental, I think, will still be there. It's just the way we deliver those fundamental and the way we interact with people will be a little different, whether it's AI, social media, you know, the technology, all this stuff is going to change. However, the common thread of leadership, of communication, of human interaction is still the core of our business. And this, I think, will remain no matter what. So I think I always say use the tools to make you feel, to make you better, more productive and everything. But don't forget that there's still the human aspect. This is still hospitality is about human as well. It can't be just. I mean, yes, I can. I guess it could be just automated and everything. Everything could be automated. We've seen it. There's some hotels that are fully automated, but for the higher end or for the real experience, the human interaction is there. But I think what the technology does or what the future holds is that we'll be able to hopefully give us more time to spend on the quality, on the what's really quality in the relationship we have with our guests. And I think that's going to be a big plus. Some roles will be automated, some roles will be, you know, AI generated, fine.
Yeah.
Like it's the way the thing evolved, but there's so many other things that will still be the human aspect and the human touch that will be there. So I'm not too worried about the future. I think it's just going to be you need to be able
Mhm.
to be able to accept that it's going to change. If you look at something that's going to stay remain the same, then you're going to be depressed. But if you say no, it's going to evolve, and yes, I'm going to have to learn, and yes, I'm going to have to adapt, and yes, I may have to change some of the ways I was doing things and adapt. The possibilities are endless as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think you can find the possibility in anything, and I agree with you. I think it can also free up time to have a little bit more meaningful conversation instead of so fast because there are people waiting in line or those kind of
Right,
things.
yeah. And you can hopefully sometimes go deeper into certain situation that potentially you may not have been able to do it if you use your tool given to you. And as those tools evolve, because the thing is that we not only we use the tool, but those tools are evolving constantly.
Yes.
So they become more and more powerful, but also useful and more accurate. If we take AI, for example, you know, and all this, at the beginning it was, and we're scratching the surface of this right now. It's like, who would have thought that, you know, you could type something in a website and it will give you a full book or picture or a movie. I mean, and this is just, we're scratching the surface of this. It's only going to evolve. That doesn't mean that we can't have some creativity and all this. The machines yet does not think yet. They just, you know, take the information and analyze them, but they can't think and create. We can do that. Human can do that. And I think we have that power that we're able to feed into those machines. And I think those machines will help us get better and more um, more detail and more granular with guests. For example, if you think of guests, I'm sure we'll be able to be even more specific for certain guests and be able to serve them in the way they want, even though it's part of a chain. We still will be able to be more independently and addressing the guest needs. I think that's exciting. I think that's really exciting because the systems will be there to help us.
Do you know what I'm thinking as you're saying this is of one of my favorite quotes by Walt Disney so many years ago.
Mhm.
Uh, you can dream, design, and create the most magical place on earth, but it takes people to make the dream a reality. And
Absolutely.
that's really what you're saying.
Absolutely. The people. I'm not afraid of the progress we made in certain ways because there's going to be other needs. The needs will change. We used to have needs for people to put the letters to print the newspapers. They had to put the little letters, and okay, now we need people to build computers, to reformat computers. There's a need. It's a different need. That's all. And that's why I'm saying we always need to learn. We can't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything else the rest of my life. I've learned everything I had to do." No, you learn constantly and you continue need to evolve. Otherwise, you're left behind. 100% you're left behind. So yes, the human aspect is there, but the human have to be willing to accept those changes and learn with it.
Great. Ah, so I have just a couple last questions,
Yeah,
and they're kind of in line with questions I like to ask all of my guests. And the first one is there someone throughout your career that has inspired you, and what was it that about that person?
good. Yeah, this is a good question. And actually I do. There's one person in my career that she's the person that gave me a chance in my career in the United States. I'll be honest with you. And I still believe to this day that because of her, and we both know her, Cindy, as you know. You and I have talked about it before in our lifetime, but we both worked for her, and we had this incredible young lady that was a GM in our company, and she made really a mark with me in the sense that she's the first one that hired me in the United States, so I owe her a little bit of gratitude for that. But more importantly, she's the one that really drove this. This development of my career inside of me that I didn't know I had. She's the one that pushed me and gave me the opportunities to go to Cornell to do all these trainings. I mean, we used to do, as you know, tons of training in our company. We were involved we had the time and we were taking the time to really develop our manager. And she was inspiring. I mean, she was difficult, she was demanding, she was always constantly changing. She was super creative, and she didn't beat around the bush. She would tell you what it was. But I appreciated that because she really made me think we can whatever you can think, you can make this happen. And in some case, she's even told me, Pierre, I want you to take this position, and this is why I think you're going to be good at it. And she was right, and I did very well at certain position that she pushed me to take. And she also believed, we talked about trust earlier. She trusted me and she believed in me. Not only she gave me the training and support and she pushed me, but she also gave me the trust to make things happen. And for me, to this day, every time I talk to her, I said, thank you again. She tells me all the time, stop thanking me. But it's true. I have to thank her for what she did for me, and really inspired me to continue in this business, and really shown me that this is a great business to be in where you can really develop your career from a server all the way to a senior vice president of asset management and everything in between. And I'm not saying other careers don't give you opportunities. There's plenty of career that give you opportunity, but sometimes people forget that hospitality can do that. And she showed me that because she became, I think she started as a hostess in a restaurant, if I'm not mistaken, and then she
Yes,
ended up
yeah.
senior, I don't know what she was. She was vice president or whatever she was, executive vice president in the company. So she did everything in between as well. So, we have that opportunity, and I really admire that about her. She never gave up. She always pushed us. She saw the capabilities we had. And she gave us the tools. She provided us the tools to make this happen.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the one I remember. And then there's plenty of people along the way, obviously, that shape you as an individual, as a leader, that really gave you again a push or believed in you or gave you the training or supported you. I had another GM actually that gave me when I became director of sales and marketing. Again, I was not. That was not my direction. My direction was operation, and then suddenly Patrick, told me one day, I want you to be my director of sales and marketing. And I said, really? And then
Mhm.
I ended up doing that for 5 years. So, those are opportunities that people give you. So those are the people that really shape your life. The other thing about Cindy that I want to go back to, she's also the one that introduced me to my wife. So I'm not gonna
Oh, I did
we
not
have a
know
beautiful
that.
family. So I think that's a little bit plus. That's why I'm a little biased with her too as well. But
You're thankful to her for personally and professionally.
I don't think she did it on purpose, but introduced me. So no, I mean, so
Yeah.
it's somebody you can think about all your life. The rest of your life, they will stay ingrained in you, and they will have shaped you. And hopefully,
And
everybody has somebody like this in their life.
absolutely. And I'm like you, I have several. And I love that you said Cindy too, because for me, as a young leader, I mean, when I first met her, I was director of sales and marketing on property, and she had all male general managers reporting to her. And, at that time, that was late 90s,
Yeah, it was.
early 2000. It was rare, right? And it was really inspirational to me. And she was tough and demanding, but she also had a human side. I mean, I remember I
100%. Yeah.
even remember going to her one time and sitting down with her and saying, I don't agree with XYZ and here's why. And she supported me, and I will always remember that moment. People thought I was crazy. You can't tell Cindy that. And I was like, I think I can. I
And
don't-
that's the beauty of good leaders is that they're
yeah,
willing to listen to others' opinion and sometimes change their direction because of it. Sometimes not, but sometimes they do, and it's
yeah.
a great leadership trait. So no, I agree with you 100%. I to this day. By the way, it's her birthday today. In case.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I reach out. That's
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me. Well, Pierre-Louis, I have one final question for you. The name of the podcast is The Power of Hospitality. And my last question is just when you hear the power of hospitality, what does that say to you?
The power of hospitality is the connection that it creates at every level with people. It's people driven. It's career driven. It's for me the power of hospitality is what gave me who I am today. So the power of being hopefully a good leader, a good mentor to people, living a decent life. Having been able to build a great family and this human aspect of hospitality for me is undeniable. It's the core value of what we are is that human aspect and connecting people from all over the world, every different level of culture, different cultures, different background, and we all have that connection, which is this human connection that makes us want to welcome people in our home, in our hotel, in our restaurant, in our facilities. And I love that. I love that business. I think it has given me a lot of opportunities that I didn't even know existed. And the fact that I'm here today talking, in an asset management role, is the proof that, it can take you in so many different places that for me I have never regretted once that I took that direction and went to hotel school and did this. Is it meant for everyone? No, it's not. I mean, thank God, otherwise it would be only we all do the same thing. We need people that do other thing. But for me, it was the perfect route of what I wanted, and it fits. So I'm excited about this.
I love that. I love that you've taken this route, and I think that it's great for the industry to have more people, kind of coming together and having experience on both sides. So I love what
Absolutely,
you're
yeah.
doing,
Mhm.
and keep sharing.
Makes you more valuable. I think it enables to raise the bar a little bit in the business, to have people from different background and different, that came maybe to the same position but in different ways, because then you bring something different that we don't always see. So no, I agree with you 100% on that one.
Thank you so much for your time today. I loved our conversation. It was so valuable to me.
Well,
Thank you
same
so much.
thing. I really appreciate that you reached out to me and asked me to be part of it. I feel honored, and I wish you the best success, obviously, for this podcast as well. But thank you so much. I really enjoy talking about what I love to do every day. So that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Hospitality podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with someone who would be inspired by the conversation. I'd really appreciate it. You can find more episodes and resources at powerofhospitality.com or valeriegavin.com. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another conversation. Until then, let's all spread a little joy through the power of hospitality.